Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be trying out some products from Rituel de Fille. So I've tried a couple things from the brand over the last few years, but it's been a little while. And as soon as I saw that my friend Andromeda over on Instagram was collaborating with them, I had to buy the entire bundle. So this is their collaboration, the first time I think Rituel de Fille's done a collaboration, and this is the Viridescent collection. It is still available. It's been out for a few weeks now, but it came while I was sick, and then one of the products came broken, and so I had to get a replacement. But I've tried a couple of these on camera, like the highlighter I've tried on camera a couple times, and I've been playing with them off camera, but I wanted to actually do a dedicated video because I think these are really special, and I wanted to also do a wear test. One of the products here is an eyeshadow, and I haven't had a chance to do a prolonged wear test on it, so I wanted to do that today. Put it on camera, come back later, check in and see how it wears, and if, since this is still available, if this might be a good product or a good collection for you. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a definite soft spot for sparkly indie makeup and high-end and luxury formulas, and I tend to be pretty analytical. I just try really hard to make thorough, analytical content, and I have new videos every week, so I'd really love to have you subscribe. Okay, so like I said, this collection has been around for a few weeks now, maybe a month, but I've just not had a chance to film this video. But this should be fairly straightforward if you are still interested in these. It is now officially fall. The weather's starting to cool off, so this is the kind of stuff that I'm more interested in now. So I'm very happy to have this as a fall set of products. You can buy all the products individually, or you can buy as a bundle like I did. It was $91. So you got like a bundle discount. And then I used Andromeda's code, which I think is just their name, S.Andromeda, to save an additional percentage. So it was like 80 something dollars for a highlighter, a lip, and an eyeshadow. So not the worst. I also have to say, like, I'm gonna be a little biased because Andromeda is a friend. We talk on Instagram all the time. I think they're really great. And also seeing another queer person, another non-binary person get a collaboration like this just makes me really happy. They also have an olive undertone. They are just much more fair than I am. So the fact that it's all green and olive inspired just really made me happy, and I had to get it. But like I said, it's been a little while since this came out. So I'm gonna go over the couple things that are in here if you haven't already seen this, and then I'm gonna put on the products on camera, and then I'm gonna go about my day and do a wear test so you can see how the highlighter and the eyeshadow and stuff fare. The lipstick doesn't matter quite as much because that's something you're gonna reapply throughout the day anyway. So the first thing in this is one of the Rituel de Fille Rare Light Cream Illuminizers. So this is a cream highlighter, and this is the shade Borealis. I have used this on camera. It comes in this component, which I do have a blush from them that came in something similar to this. This is a different formula though. That was a little more melty and like waxy feeling. And it is a green highlighter, which I have a couple of from other brands I really like. I think they're all powder. Most of them tend to be pretty sparkly, and on a day-to-day basis, I prefer more of a glow from within. So having a glow from within highlighter that is also green makes me very happy. So I have already worn this a bunch. There is a lipstick. So this is their Enchanted Lip Sheer. And this is in the shade Medusa, which is a Medusa and jellyfish reference. And it is a gray-green sheer tint. I have worn this, I will say, on my skin tone and my lip color. I will put it on. By itself, it just kind of makes me look a little dead, which is not a bad thing, just what it looks like. But I do think it works better over lip liner, so I'll show you both of those. And then there was one of their Ash and Ember eye sets, which I've been wanting to try, and it is the shade Olivine. And you can buy these all individually still. And it is a really beautiful glass jar with a sparkly olive green shimmer. So my first one came broken, not just like shattered in there, but like it was two little balls of product that had like melted and crumbled and formed a ball in shipment in the heat, because they do ship from California. And I talked to Andromeda. they said they've had that happen and they repressed it and it was fine and it works just as well as all the other ones they have. I couldn't get it to repress right. It still just kept crumbling. So I reached out to the brand, and because I paid for the whole shop, the whole like extra like $1 something for insurance, they were able to, they told me, reach out to them, they'll replace it and then we'll expedite the shipping. So I reached out to them. They immediately sent out a whole nother bundle because I bought it as a bundle. So they fully just replaced that. And then Rituel de Fille's customer service, who were very fast and friendly, had it expedited and I got it really quickly. And then I gave the duplicates to my best friend because I know she'll enjoy them. So right now I don't have any makeup on, I just have a little brow gel in, and then I put down Lisa Eldridge's Liquid Shadow and Phoebe as an eye base because it's basically my skin tone and works well as an eye base. So I always use an eyeshadow primer. I have oily eyelids and I have worn this a couple times, but it was like short periods and it did crease a little bit but in a way that I like. And it was just over my NARS base. So the fact that I'm gonna go for a long walk today, have some errands to do, I wanted to see how it wears over this base for a longer period than just like the 2 hours I've worn it a couple times before. So you can use your finger or brush. I do have both. I have a brush and obviously fingers. So I'm gonna put this on, then I think I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup off camera, except for the highlighter and stuff. Come back, we'll try that, and then I will check back in at the end of the video for a wear test and final thoughts. Real quick, I am gonna put the lip gloss or the lip balm on. It's like a lip balm lip tint. It is something you can push up and down, and then it's kind of stiff when it starts, but as you use it, it melts. And it has an interesting, like, kind of herbal scent. So you can see if I put a little bit on just my lips, it looks mostly gray. There is a bit of green sheen in it. So when the light hits it, you see the green. But by itself, yeah, it feels like a balm and kind of has, this is not a read or a bad thing, but it kind of smells like something you'd buy at like a health food store or a co-op. I mean, there's a lot of those in Seattle, so it just kind of has that smell. But you can see by itself, it just kind of makes me look dead, which for October, fitting, don't hate that. But I do think it'll look better over a lip liner. I mean, yeah, and I don't mind this, but like, I've worn it like this a couple times and yeah, it just kind of makes me look dead, which is not a look I want every day, but it is something I want sometimes. So I'm gonna leave that on while we try the eyeshadow. So the base isn't stacky, this fully sets. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And you can see this is a really sparkly potted eyeshadow. So I'm gonna grab a brush first to try. This is an Esom V27. This is one of the ones they sent me in PR from their new revamped brush collection. And I thought this would work well because it's small and kind of like a really small concealer brush. So it'll be good for like patting. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of this. See, it picks up nicely and you can see that sparkly texture. Just need to grab my mirror. And I'm gonna put this on the lid. Yeah, this is exactly the brush I want it to use for this. So, because it's kind of the same shape as like a concealer brush that I have from them and from other people, that like finger shape, it works well to kind of press that onto the eye. And you might be able to see there's like little bits of gold sparkle, like champagne. This is a really lovely color. This is a very, I mean, Andromeda color, but it's also a very me color. I'm just gonna tap it all over. I'm doing this first just in case I had fallout. And then just using the brush to kind of blend the edges. I really like that. I have tried this with my finger and I think you get a little bit more sparkle. I'll pick up a little bit. You can see it's a little more opaque, and there's the shade there. It's so pretty. Just kind of pressing and melting it into the skin. I think you get more of the sparkle this way, but I do like starting with a brush. Okay, it's really pretty. I really like this shade. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera real quick. I'm gonna just put this on the other eye the same way. I'm gonna do a little bit of concealer and stuff like that, and then we'll come back to do the highlight and redo the lip, and then, yeah, and then I'll go do the wear test. Okay, so I'm back, and I just did this on the other eye, exact same thing, just put the green all over, blended with the same brush. I put a little bit of bronzer under my eye so that I have a little bit of sculpt there, put a little bit of my Surratt lash tint on, and then I used my Viridescent eyeliner in the waterline because it's kind of got an olivey bronze tone to it. And then I put my Lisa Eldridge lip liner in Sorcery down because I thought this would be a nice base. So I don't have any blush or anything on. I just used a little bit of my House Labs concealer on a fluffy brush to kind of like cover the redness here and where I had some like razor burn here. And that's all for complexion. So now let's try the highlighter. So I like to put my highlighter under my blush. So I'm gonna use this one from Suku that's like this warm brown. But I think highlighter looks best if it's kind of underpainted under the blush. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm hoping the powder blush will kind of also set it a little bit. So we'll see. Really pretty. You can use your finger if you want. And you can use it on the eye and stuff as well. It will crease because it's more of a cream highlighter, but, and I'm just using this brush from KJH brand. That comes with the highlighter kit from that brand. I think it's a nice size and shape for doing highlighter. So you can see as I pat that on, it's a very natural glow. There's no sparkle. Hopefully it shows up. I'm just sitting in front of my windows because it's actually sunny today. And it's just a nice, you can build it up. I've used this on camera before as well. It's kind of balmy texture. And I know they have other colors. This is just, you know, a limited edition green one. But it adds that glow from within, but then if the light hits it just right, you see that it's actually green and not just like a champagne. I think it's really pretty. This is a nice brush for this. I think that's gonna be, I really swirled it so you can really see the green right there. I think because I'm in front of my windows, the way the light's hitting is gonna make this side look a little more intense than this side. Also, I think I got a little bit more on this side, but that's fine. And it does, like, it's not like fully dried down, but it does melt into the skin really nicely. I really like this formula. And I know Tom, Hope Miss Tom, loves their cream. I mean, it's not technically sold as a cream contour, but it's basically a cream contour. And then for blush, like I said, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna use the Suku one. This is from their new winter collection. I'm just picking it up on a Reffer brush, and I'm gonna put that on my cheek. I'm gonna put a little bit more of the highlighter on top if I want. But I feel like highlighter under blush kind of adds to the glow from within. So you can still see the sheen, and I still see the green, but it looks more like one with your skin when you put it under blush. Plus, hopefully putting a powder blush on top of it should help with the longevity of a cream product. This is from last year's holiday collection. It's a really soft brush. This year's just came out and has a much nicer handle, but the bristles on this are really lovely, even if the handle is a little basic. I mean, it's pretty lacquered, but it's not like as extravagant as this year's. Okay, I really like that. I think it works well under there, and I do see the green glow from within. Okay, so all that's left is reapplying this. I might just wear this lipstick throughout the day as I go for errands, but I did want to show this again over another lip. So if I just kind of tap it over, you can see it cools it down a little bit without it looking, yeah, I think it works better over, I think over just a brown lip liner would also really be nice. But it just cools that down, neutralizes some of the warmth in the lip, but I don't look as dead now. And if you really, really throw it on, you can see it's still, I don't look dead. It just kind of, because of the gray base, made it a little bit darker, a little bit cooler. I really like that. If I want even more green, I could put some of the highlighter there too. I want to just take a little bit. This does have a tiny mirror. A little bit of green highlighter right there. See? I really like that. Okay, so that is it for now. I'm gonna go about my day, and then I will see you all at the end of the night for a check-in to see how this wears. But it's such a pretty green. It's so shiny. When the light hits it, you definitely see a really, really beautiful sparkle. I think this will be a really nice evening kind of shadow because low light is gonna make it really, really like come out. Don't see any creasing or anything yet, so I will see you all in like 6 to 8 hours. We'll see. Okay, so I am back and it is the end of the wear test. It's been about 8 hours now and I'm really liking the way this looks, especially for the type of product it is. So I did powder my face again earlier and because I just felt extra shiny after dinner and walking around and stuff. And I did reapply my lips. I did modify the lips a little bit. So earlier I used Velvet's The Sorcery lip liner from Lace Eldridge, which is kind of mauve-y but a little warm. And this is her neutral 1N shade, so you could see the side-by-side in the little clips I'm gonna show. I think it's a very nice neutral contour lip tone for me. So if you have a lip shade like Endless Cacao, or if you're like, you know, something that's like a little cool tone, a little neutral, gonna contour your lips, this over it is really nice. It's like cool brown, and when the light hits it, you just see a little bit of that green sheen. Lipstick is really nice, and it is basically a balm, so it did last over the lip liner very well. Like, the only thing that ruined it was dinner. Like, I had a probiotic beverage, I had a tepache while I went on the long walk and did some other stuff, and it was dinner itself, like having soup for dinner, that ruined the lip. So for the iSoot wear test, I think it wore really well. So I do have clips, so I did a check-in around an hour, hour and a half after I applied it, and I did it also outside so you can kind of see what it looked like. And you could see there was a little bit of creasing already apparent after an hour, like right here, but not too bad. I think it looked really beautiful still, and still very fresh. Not that it doesn't look beautiful now. And then we went on like an hour and a half walk around the neighborhood. We did some other stuff. So I think I put 3 hours as the time stamp on my little, when I recorded it, but it was like 3.5 hours. And it's definitely creased at that point. I don't hate the way this looks. I like that lived-in look for certain looks, certain products. This is, I think, one of those. But you can definitely see it's creased. It didn't melt off or disappear though. So that is something I look for. So I have used indie shadows, like some sparkly shadows from some smaller brands that, I don't know, I have the hiccups or something, that they didn't just like crease on me, they like fully melted off. Where like hour, maybe 2 hours in, it looked like I had no eyeshadow at all. Like I never put anything on, like lid's bare. So it didn't do that. And that is, I'm fine with this for this type of product. And then I did tap it out and it looked basically good as new. So it is one of those products that if you do notice creasing, you can tap it out and just kind of blend that emollient nature back onto your lid, and it looked great. And then I forgot to do a check-in, but like, I think I might have done a 5-hour one if I remember if I did, I'll include it here. But I think it still looked good at that point. I was still really happy with it. And then this is like just under 8 hours. So let me zoom you in, and you can see it is definitely creased. So it bunched in my literal crease right here. I really like the wash of sparkle up here. I think a really sheer layer of this blended out would be really pretty. And you can see it's pretty opaque right here. It's just like right here in my actual crease where it does that. It did catch there, but let's see if I can tap this out like I did earlier. Yeah, it still taps out. So I could probably keep wearing this for a while, and like there's not really much transfer onto my finger, like a little bit of the base and a little sparkle, but it smoothed it out and it looks fine again. So if you are okay with having to tap it out or okay with that like lived in look, I think this is really nice. And also because where it creased, when I'm just sitting or standing like this, you're not seeing that. It's only when I'm showing my whole lid that you really see it, you know? But I think tapped out, this looks really nice. And then for the highlighter, my blush is faded. I mean, I still have some warmth on my cheek, but I don't really have as much color. But I still have a nice glow. I mean, my whole face is a little more glowy now, but I do see a bit of a green glow right there where I put the highlighter. It's very natural and just has that slightly bit of green, which blends into my skin tone really well. But I do see it slightly there in person. It's just very natural and very melted in, so it doesn't look like I have anything on again. But I think it looks really nice. I actually think my complexion came out really nice today, but I didn't really change too much. But this is also why I like this type of formula. I don't really want sparkly, glittery there most days, but this kind of melted in a little bit more glow and maybe a tint of something is really nice. I need to see if they have other tinted version of this. I think they do, because this might be cool with some other colors. I just need to look. Okay, so zoomed you back out. I really like this. I think this is a nice, really easy, sparkly shadow to use. I will say I have used it with a few brushes. The one I used today from Isam is basically a really small concealer brush. Like it's very similar to the concealer brush I have from them. And I think I like this texture the best because it'd pick up enough, but it taps it out really nicely. I've used a fluffier brush and I had a little bit of fallout, but it was pretty easy. But like even today I had a little bit on the table here, none on my face, but like just from, I think it came off the brush as I lifted. A fluffy brush might get you a really nice diffused sparkle. I would definitely do your eyes first there. And I've tried like a big paddle brush. This one's from Cosmetics. You can see it's a very big brush. And this was fine, but I think this was a little too big and just a little too fluffy. So it like layered it thinner, but like spread it more. So I think this is a big brush, so I just wouldn't use this brush. A small version of this might be fine, but I really liked it with this particular brush. I think it just deposited the right amount. So if you have something kind of like this, I think that would, you know, more on the dense side and smaller, I think you just get more control. So final thoughts on all three of these. Like I said, I've worn the lip other times as well by itself or with some other lip liners and lipsticks, and I've worn the highlighter quite a bit, and I've worn the eyeshadow 3 or 4 other times, but they were all for short periods. I'm glad I got to do a wear test, and I really like this. I think this isn't a formula that I want every shade in, but for shades like this, olive or maybe like a gunmetal, I think would be really pretty, or like a nice deep brown. This is something I would wear all the time. And if you're someone who likes a little bit more of a lived-in look, especially if you want like the really refined sparkle of this, if you're going out, I think it's a really interesting formula and worth checking out. If you are someone who has even oilier eyelids than me, like already has trouble with other things, or you really can't stand creasing, like if it creases, it's a bad shadow for you, do not buy this. You have to be willing to have some of those creases. If you have dry eyelids, it might crease less because you're not having as much oil production on your lids. But if you're like normal to oily and really hate any kind of creasing or imperfection in your shadow, I just don't think this is the formula for you. but I do really like it. It is really pretty, and I think Andromeda made the perfect green shade. And then as far as the lips, this isn't something I'm gonna wear all the time. If I go up so you don't have the, where I've been rubbing it on products, you can see the green a little bit better there. This is an interesting formula. I like the formula. I will use this up. If they made it permanent, I would buy a replacement when this died. It's not a tone that I'm gonna wear all the time, but when I want it, I'm really glad I have this because of the way it cools down other lips, the little bit of green sheen. I just don't always want that. But it is really pretty, and I know a lot of people do like that, so especially if you are cooler than me and you have a hard time with things pulling too warm, having something like a blue balm, like Mob Beauty has one with Courtney Quarantine, I think, or something like this that's gonna tone down that warmth, could be a really essential part of your makeup like routine. And then the highlighter, like I said, really like it. I need to look and see what other colors they have, if they have other colorful ones. I believe they do, because I really like this. I did try their thorn oil, like a sample of it a few years ago, and I just don't like an oil base for me. I used the whole sample up, I didn't like it. It smelled fine, it just like with my skin, I didn't like the way it felt. And I have like a more balmy blush than this, I think. And then I did try one of their eyeliners that comes in like a pot, but that was a couple of years ago. So I need to revisit more from the brand, because their packaging, their vibe, their aesthetic, all of that is very much things that I like. So I just need to explore, because I know a lot of my friends love these products a lot. So that is everything. I hope this wear test was helpful if you hadn't picked this up and you were looking at getting it. I do think an eye base is pretty necessary for it, but I really like the way it looks, and using it over a neutral to skin tone base just worked really well. It's basically a one and done look for today. So let me know what you all think in the comments. If you picked this up when it launched back at the end of summer, what do you think now that you've had it for a while? How often are you using them? I'd love to hear those kind of like long-term things. If you haven't purchased it yet, but you were interested in it or just heard about it in this video, what are you thinking? Are you gonna go get it? I'd love to talk to y'all in the comments as normal. And I just wanna say again, congratulations to Andromeda for having this collaboration. I think this was curated really beautifully and perfectly for them. Like, it's just like a perfect fit, brand, colors, formulas, like everything just makes sense. And that's what I look for in a collaboration. So very proud of my friend having this kind of collaboration, and seeing another non-binary creator like do well just makes me very happy. So thank you again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, it really helps, and I will see you all in my next video.